Okay, got another tournament replay from the OU tournament in Central. This time it's Chris Reeve versus Ray. Um, both pretty good battlers. This tournament in Central. Definitely, if you're not in Central, join. Because I mean, now that kind of giveaways are dying out a bit, I mean, we're trying to focus more back on competitive content, and we're having a lot more OU and VGC tourneys, trying to get them weekly and hopefully get them back to being like a nightly thing like we used to. But this is a I think this might have been the first or second round of the tourney. And as usual, I just kind of do like a play by play team analysis, stuff like that, and just kind of give my overall feedback. And it's a best of three. They can switch teams. And this is the first battle. So for Ray, he's got Zapdos, Pheromosa, Feral Thorn, Clefable, Slow King, and Nidoking. Nidoking the monster. And then for Chris, you see he's got T-Tar, Drill, Moltres, Buzz, Among Us, and was it Tapu Lele? I always mix up the names. But for team preview, probably Zapdos. I mean, Defogger, maybe more Spadef. Pheromosa maybe running Scarf or Band. I mean, his team doesn't really have much speed control. Ferrothorn, Hazard Setter, Clef, maybe Calm Mind or Wish Pass. Slowking, uh, Slowking's a weird one. Maybe probably just another special pivot because it is one of the kind of switch ins for Nidoking a bit. And then for his team, T-Tar plus Drill, obviously Sand. Drill is the only T-Tar is the only rock setter here because you wouldn't run Drill with rocks on a when it's running Sand Rush. And I can't talk right now. And T-Tar's the Sand Inducer. Moltres, Defogger, Buzzwole, probably another, maybe Bulk Up, Among Us, defensive pivot, or maybe a little Spadef or mixed. And then Tapu Lele, probably gonna be Specs. I mean, I think he just like hits hard. And so for leads, maybe Pharaoh just get that quick U turn off, and maybe Moltres or T-Tar on his side. Music off, battle on slow, and let's go. Okay, so Mosa comes out. He leads with Among Us. So, I mean, this is kind of the perfect time to just get a quick U turn. And he goes into Moltres, which is a good switch in because if he were lucky, he would catch it with a burn, which would suck. And he goes out with Slowking, sends out Tapu Lele. And then Slowking goes for Future Sight, which is a good move because nothing on his team except for T-Tar really wants to switch into that. And then Slowking teleports out, goes into Pharaoh, and he goes into his Buzzwole here. He gets up rocks. Buzzwole is probably going to go for. Oh, Buzzwole caught the Future Sight. Okay. That is one thing. I wish that they did have the Future Sight timer up here. And then he goes into Moltres there, goes back into Slowking, gets up a quick defog. T-Chart comes back out. He goes for Future Sight. I mean, Slowking's definitely coming out here. Goes into Clef. That's like the best switch in. He gets a rock so for the obvious switch out. And then Clef will probably also he doubles. Okay, so I guess he would probably assuming that he would go into drill here. So he gets up X drill. I mean gets up Ferrothorn out. Because drill can't really muscle through. Oh wait, he did. That was a lot of damage. But I mean, rocks are up now. I want to say Ray will probably go to Slowking here. It goes Zapdos to, but I mean, he predicted that, went for Rock Slide. That was a good play on his part. Goes into T-Tar, which can pretty much like soak up attacks that Zapdos might have. And he goes into his Ferrothorn here. And there's this Rock's damage is going to start to pick up here in a bit. He goes for Ice Beam. I'm guessing he predicted. Oh, and he got the freeze. That sucks. He was probably predicting him to go into Zapdos. I don't know. I'm not really sure why he went for Ice Beam here. And he goes back into Moltres because he can either pressure out Ferrothorn or just get up an easy defog. But defog here is like almost super easy, especially with like Pharaoh burned. He goes in Slowking. Moltres should go for the okay. So he went for Flamethrower instead of a defog. I would have went for defog there just because I mean get those up immediately. Because there was really no reason for him to stay in with Ferrothorn. So Amoonguss comes back out, and I mean Slowking isn't too afraid of Amoonguss. He goes for Spore, but I mean Ferrothorn's grass plus it's already burned, and easy rocks again here. He goes in T-Tar to get up his own rocks as well. Oh, he went for Leech Seed. Okay, that was a good play on Ray's part. Because now he can go for rocks here anyways and still get some like passive recovery. And Moltres here needs to roost. Ray might stay in though. Okay, so Slowking's here. And he goes Amoonguss. He's probably gonna click Future Sight. Yeah, I would have personally clicked Future Sight just because the Moltres is not staying in. But either way, it's a good mid ground play to go for Scald, especially since he got the burn. He goes Ferrothorn. That Giga Drain's not doing anything to Amoonguss. So now he goes back into Moltres, and now I mean, I mean, has to defog here. Goes on Nidoking, expecting him to not attack at all. Yeah, here comes defog, and Nidoking getting inside is amazing because nothing really wants to switch into Nidoking, even if it's a resisted hit. Okay, I mean, he took that Ice Beam well, but Slowking comes out. He just eats up that Moonblast. Judging from the damage he's done earlier, I want to say that Tapu Lele might be Scarf instead of Specs. Because I do remember that Thunderbolt didn't really do too much earlier. Goes into Clef. Clef gets paired, which really does suck. I'm not really too. I think he might have expected a double, and that's why he went into Clef on that. Because Ferrothorn would have been the more reasonable switch in. So T-Tar just. And he gets another first turn freeze. Jesus, the luck is not on Ray's side right now. He gets a rocks. Cause, I mean, might as well take advantage of the fact that, I mean, he froze him. Gets him with the Ice Beam, kills Nido, and Ray's probably going to go into his Pheromosa. Yeah. And just click close combat. So judging from that damage, I think that is definitely a banded Pheromosa. If it can 2-hit KO Amoonguss. He goes Moltres. You gotta hope he doesn't get burned. Ah, he got burned. Yeah, Ray is having like the worst luck in this battle. I mean, he gets the +1, but I mean, he's still burned. But I mean, nothing really wants to take those hits. And Ferrothorn just soaks up that Tapu Lele hit. Cause yeah, that's definitely not specs. So he goes T-Tar. I mean, getting up. Okay, he gets a Bleach Seed here. I would have went for rocks just because like Moltres is gone, just to kind of keep getting that little residual damage off. He goes Drill. Now he gets a Brox here. So I mean, Drill. I mean, That did a lot of damage. And he's probably gonna hit him with Power Whip, and that did a lot of damage in itself. And Ferrothorn's still alive, and he missed the Rock Slide. So, I mean, I guess that's Ray's way of kind of getting it back to him. I mean, Earthquake would have been Earthquake's the best play there. Anyway, I mean, trying to predict the Zapdos was kind of unneeded because he still has T-Tar on the back. Then Ferrothorn dies to Tapu Lele, which is now locked into Moonblast, I'm assuming. So he can go into his Slowking, and probably here he's going to. Okay, so he takes that Moonblast. I would have expected him to maybe click a Teleport. He'll probably click it here. And now go into Pheromosa. Because now at this point, Ray pretty much like plays more mind games with the Tapu Lele and with the T-Tar. Because by going into Pheromosa, he baits the Tapu Lele to stay in. Because T-Tar can't switch in. No, well, he could have done Among Us maybe, but it was a pretty smart play on his part, I believe. Moonblast, and then he's just soaking up that damage. And then Slowking's probably going to click Scald here now. Because he doesn't want to drop down too low. Yeah, and then gets the burn. That's good. And so at this point now, Clef can end up sweeping late game. As long as he doesn't get like Parahaxed. But also the fact that, I mean, once Among Us is gone, sorry, I got hiccups. T-Tar just kind of like loses to Pheromosa, even though it's burned. Oh man, yeah, right. He's getting hacks to death. Let's just pray for Ray. And then Clef is gone now, which sucks. Um, Probably gonna go into his Zapdos maybe. Yeah, and click Hurricane. And he misses a Hurricane. Like, come on. Like Ray is having like the worst luck ever. But at this point now, I mean, what Ray can do, because I mean, T-Tar has kind of revealed a set. I honestly don't think he's carrying a dark type move. Among Us comes out. He goes for Scald, which doesn't really do anything. Goes for a Giga Drain. He's probably gonna click Future Sight here. Yeah. That way it'll pretty much put T-Tar on more of a timer because it has to keep like shuffling in and out. He goes Zapdos. I think here he needs to roost with Zapdos. Definitely needs to roost. Well, no, he can't because of Spore. That is right. So he doubles out to his Pheromosa. T-Tar comes out. So that was a good play on his part. That double there. But unfortunately, T-Tar, I mean, just takes up the Future Sight. And U turns out, gets a good chunk of damage off. Goes into Zapdos. He really needs to land a Hurricane here. Really needs to land a Hurricane. Oh, he roosted. Okay, that was a smart play. That was a really smart play. He was definitely predicting the Among Us to go out. Clicks Discharge, and he gets some hacks on his side finally. Okay, so he was hiding Dark Pulse the whole time. And now Zapdos kind of knows that it can really is not too scared of it. Okay, he actually hit 5 times, but I mean that did what like 45%, a little bit less. But he can roost here again and just kind of regain some health and just kind of hope to pair him. Yeah, gets that full pair off. And what's Zapdos running? Hit him with another discharge. Now this Rock Blast kind of hurts. It's just, okay, RNG is in his favor. Goes Among Us. Goes back into T-Tar. I'm not really sure why, because Zapdos is pretty much like forced to click Hurricane. Yeah, I think here he wins, but it's not really over. Hurricane lands, he gets a Spore off, and so now at this point he can. I think Slowking was faster, so what he can do is let Zapdos die here, and just keep clicking Hurricane in case he wakes up and hits, and then just have Slowking. Can Slowking? I don't know. It's a tricky situation that's kind of going on. But I think Sand plus Burn is going to end up killing the Among Us off, maybe. Because I don't think that Giga Drain can really give him enough health. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then Pheromosa comes in and just clicks U-turn and wins. So that was definitely interesting. I mean, there was a lot of hacks there. Definitely a lot of hacks, but Ray pulled through. That was round one, best of three, and here comes battle two. Ray's got Zapdos, Spectier, Urshifu, Magearna, Hippowdon, and Toxapex, and then Chris has Pheromosa, Buzzwole, Nidoking, Magearna, Slowbro, and Blissey. Okay, so Zapdos almost positive that this thing is. I think me and Ray actually built this team, or we worked on together. I don't remember, but Zapdos is probably Defog, Spectier. I mean, probably Specs, Shadow Ball, Urshifu, Band, Magearna, maybe the Double Dance set. Double Dance set. I mean, Store Power, Hippowdon. I mean, Rock Setter, Bulky, Toxapex. Probably set up Spikes. And then for Chris, you got Pheromosa, probably, I mean, Bandit or Life Orb. Got Buzzwole, you got Nidoking, Magearna. I mean, Slowbro, Teleport, Blissey, Teleport with Rocks. Um, Nidoking, Life Orb, Magearna, maybe Specs. Buzzwole, probably just bulk up. And for leads, probably Zapdos, maybe, or maybe you might see double Magearna leads. So let me put this on slow and music off and click play. So he leads with Nidoking. Nidoking gets up Toxic Spikes. I guess he was. I question that play only because Nidoking can't really Oko out um, Urshifu, but Urshifu can Oko Nidoking. Then you go Slowbro, and I mean Ray has to. Okay, so he went for a cover, and Slowbro is probably going to teleport out. Oh, he went for Future Sight. Okay, that was actually a good move then on his part. Magearna comes out. Ray went for the Toxic because I don't think Slowbros are carrying Psyshock anymore. They're just running Future Sight. Goes for the trick, and now you have a Choice Specs Hippowdon. Okay, and that Future Sight didn't really do anything. Blissey comes out, gets up rocks. Blissey's probably gonna get up rocks here as well because Hippowdon can't do anything since it's specs because of the trick. And he can right here just go for, I mean, Wicked Blow. I mean, nothing really wants to take that. Jesus, yeah, that did 53%. But I mean, well, technically he can go into Buzzle. Buzzle is the switch in. Yeah, I'm not really sure why he didn't go Buzzle. Still really not too sure why he wouldn't go Buzzwole here. So Toxapex comes out on the Pheromosa, and it just eats that close combat. And then now Toxapex can just um click Toxic here on any switch in to kind of predict, and he gets the Slowbro for Toxic, and Urshifu comes out. He has to watch out for. Nah, he's not gonna go for Scald. Go for Future Sight, but he's in the same situation again where he just clicks Wicked Blow, and this is the play he should have made a while back because look at that damage. That only did 25%, and Buzzwole has access to Roost, so he would have ended up using if Buzzwole was his go-to switch in the entire game, then Magearna would still be here, and so would Nidoking. So Hippo takes the Future Sight, and he just went go ahead and sacks it. So Buzzwole is here in front, and the play to make here would honestly probably be maybe Zapdos, and hope that a Hurricane lands. Yep, and Hurricane landed, which was really good on his part. Slowbro comes out. Not really too sure why, because personally the switch in there to make is Blissey, because Blissey comes in, soaks up hits, and threatens him out. And with rocks already up on the field, he could have teleported and kind of maintained switch position. But now Blissey's paralyzed because the discharge, and Urshifu comes out again. Like no, well, even more so now. Nothing wants to take a Wicked Blow. So Blissey's gone. Because I mean, there's literally no switch into that. Pheromosa comes out. He goes into Pex. U turns out. And then Slowbro comes back out. And he goes in the Spectator because at this point he can just kind of click Shadow Ball or Hex, because with Slowbro being poisoned, it's going to do a lot of damage, and Pheromosa doesn't want to take that hit. Yeah, so Shadow Ball, and that's pretty much GG there. And I mean, good battle. I mean, good set. Ray won that 2-0. He really did good that first game, overcoming a lot of hacks. And this game was really solid too. Only thing that I would have done differently is, like I said earlier, Buzzwole should be the switch in for Urshifu instead of allowing Nidoking and Magearna to die. But other than that, I mean, both played really well. This was a long one, definitely. Make sure to drop a like, I mean, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the battle, and join the group if you're interested in competitive mods. But otherwise, I will see you guys later.